Hello, everyone. Friday, November 14th, 2025. Welcome. Today's Practice Friday. Another red market day. SPY and NVIDIA losing us, man. So we're up against the bears and the bulls. But we pulled out $2 today, and we used the day just to practice. We didn't jump in on the open or in pre-market. We went in right at the close and just tested the market. And the reason we did that is because we want to stay sharp, because in this market, especially the way it is right now, you're going to lose. We're going to lose. Everybody loses. So you got to get professional advice, training, stay on the simulator, and learn how to day trade. And most importantly, learn to control your emotions. Talk to a psychologist if you need to. So today our P&L, we were down 13 cents at one point, up $1.76, and then we pulled out $2. $2 Friday. So we took 4 trades on CMCT. Started out with a couple of shares and then moved up to 10. And you see there, winning, losing, and then finally pulling out a good win at the end. So we didn't start off with CMCT. We just jumped in right at 12:29 Pacific time there, half an hour to the close. And we started looking at what's up. WSHP was an IPO. And it was moving up, frozen at 29, halted at 29. CYCU had been making noise. It had hit 691, 713 actually, the high day, and then it had pulled back. CYPH also had been moving, but not much at the time I looked at it. AMZ, I think, moved up early in the market, but not anymore. We looked at a couple of others, and they didn't really offer anything. The charts were awful. At least for the time that we were looking at, and the volume was almost frozen. You see there hardly moves. If you like our videos, hit like and subscribe. Hitting that thumbs up button is absolutely free. It costs you nothing. Just tap it. Tap, please. We're a couple of subscribers away from hitting 100. So subscribe. Thanks. But then the Sendu started mouthing off at CMCT. And so we went in to look at it. At this point, we didn't see an opportunity. It had already moved up. It looks like we had already traded it. You see the 2 cyan lines there. The cyan lines I used to indicate above that line, it's likely to go up and face a little less resistance if it can go beyond that blue line, cyan. And the volume looked and everything, and it did go up beyond that second line, but and we were thinking, and we jumped in for 2 shares, thinking that it'll go higher. And we had drawn a line on the 0 lag MACD below, and we were waiting for that. We went in a little early. We were waiting for that. There you go. We were waiting for that histogram to hit above our line, and it was holding. I was going to use the template, but I goofed by switching tickers. And Thinkorswim, every time it does it randomly, but when you switch tickers, it'll reset your template to $1 plus, $1 minus. So be careful. Make sure you look at that before you hit your hotkeys or your buy buttons. So we go into a halt, and at 10:24, and we start wondering whether we should have stayed in or not, but it was way too late. And but everything here looks good. We're looking at the level 2 to see what folks are doing, and we've got 100 bids up there at 9:45, and which makes us skeptic about how it's going to do when it comes back. We're looking at Zendu on the web. And Zendu has it up like around 965. So we figure it's going to be either 25 cents up or 25 cents down. And we got in at 977, and the price is already at 1024. So the smart thing to do here, and the smart thing to do anytime you go using a template, is to move up your stop and move it up to a point where you either lose very little money and you give the stock enough room to breathe down, or move it up to a point where you're going to be green. And so that's what we were doing here. We're thinking it's a 1024, so maybe around $10. If we put it there, it'll hit the stop at 10. It'll maybe stop us out at 990 or something. And we move our sell limit to just underneath a $0.50 over 10, in case it goes all the way to 1050, and then we decide to move it a little closer. So now we've got our stops, our limit and our stop set, and we're in here in the range, and all we have to do is now wait for it to come back off the halt. And this is a game of adjusting, and this is something that you should be doing in your head anyway. Whenever trading any stock, you should have an idea of where you want to get out, where you want to stop out, because it's really important if you're not using a template. But I know most brokers have templates. So in the meantime, we look at WSHP, and we heard it. It came off the halt, went up $10, all the way up to 39, and I started looking at it. But then here, I didn't see the excitement. I didn't see the level 2 really showing that there was a lot of interest in it. So I was willing to go into it because this is the first stock I looked at. And as a matter of fact, I cut out about 3 to 4 minutes worth of me watching the stock, waiting for it to come off before CMCT came on board. And it was looking good, but the volume wasn't there and the market wasn't there. Even though the SPY had moved up a little bit, it had sold off. And it's a misnomer, right? When the market was at 683 a while ago, and now it's at 672, and it'll stay red at 672, and then it moves up beyond 672 and it becomes green. And then the news will tell you, oh, the stock market is green, it moved up. Well, it moved up relatively to how low it got. But it didn't really go up. It hasn't hit 687 yet, right? So it's still down. In my eyes, it's still red. So we're up 94 cents on CMCT, and that's what we're hoping for. And we're hoping for a little bit more. I want $1 at least to put in my report so that I can show that I'm green, and that's what I'm looking for. And I played the sell stop and the sell limits really well. And you'll notice here, boom, it hits my stop, and it does go beyond. I had thought earlier that it might hit 11, but it's just be safe. There's no need to go haywire. And we only went in with 2 shares. Had we chosen more shares, then maybe we would have done a little better. But the amount of money is not as important as the practice. To say, you know what, I took 4 trades. I really managed my risk well, and I came out green on 2 of the trades, and the 2 trades that I took averaged a higher dollar amount than the 2 losers. That is a winning day. Forget about the amount of money that you may have made. That is a winning day. Take 50% winning ratio with higher average on your win than your losses. Come on, that's the recipe right there, and that's what you need. And how do you get there? You got to be able to choose the right stocks. So it's 1239, and it's still moving up on that single bar, but I see a double top, so I leave it. I come back to it a few minutes later. It looks like it's moving up. It looks like it still has room. I'm not so convinced. The MACDs appear to be closing and curling. But the volume does start to come in a little bit, and that's sort of encouraging. I'm watching the histogram. The histogram is down, but you'll see it start to move up as volume comes in, even though the MACD there goes red and starts to show us some purple, some magenta to the downside of the 0 line. And I think this is where we have a dump. Yep. And then we didn't go in. We knew it was a triple top up there. We didn't go in. So a couple of others were making noise. GTBP, Noma, NOMA, was also another IPO, and that one crashed and burned with not enough volume, and which is in like GTBP. And the other one was SGLY, and that one had moved up 10 cents. So for those that got it, great for them. But we didn't see a play here. I did not see a play at all. I just saw a burst up, and the next thing that would probably happen is the burst down. So, and if you see my template on the right hand side on the active trader, when I change the ticker, it'll change it to $1 plus and $1 minus. So you got to be careful if you use Thinkorswim templates, because they're sneaky like that. They'll switch you to the $1 plus, $1 minus. You'll jump in if you don't look, and all of a sudden, you're thinking that you had a nice stop set, and you lose $1, and you got more than 2 or 10 shares in the game. Then that's a big loss. So we didn't like SGLY. And here you see the volume is stopped. I mean, it's not halted. It was just stopped. So we go back to CMCT at 12:48, about 10 minutes later. We've given it a little bit time to breathe, and we're looking at it maybe. And we're looking at the histogram again on the MACD. And it looks like it's starting to move up. And we have a line there that we believe it needs to cross, right? And that's our key. If it can get to that line and get above it, then we know that it's going to go higher. Another thing I should mention is I've seen a couple of folks buying on a small red bar. So what they do is they watch for the sell-off, and if the sell-off comes off on a small red bar, they wait a couple of bars to see what's going to happen, and it's more than likely it's going to go up. If it's a long volume red bar, they don't touch it. So that's something interesting that I want to put into the back of my brain in my trading repertoire, and use it. So you guys should look out for that as well. So here it starts to move up, and it would have been nice to catch it down below, 930. Is that it? And catch a few more bucks, and but it's okay. We're looking for certainty, and the certainty is that the histogram hasn't hit our line yet. And on both the 5-minute and the 10-second chart down below, or the 133 tick chart, that green bar hasn't reached at least half or more of the prior red bar, which is another gauge for reclaim. So now here it hits our bar, the histogram, but the volume is kind of still low and reddish. So, and remember, we're 10 minutes from the close, and it's on a Friday afternoon, and the market is down. So against all advice, I'm trading, and I'm looking for stuff to the upside. And the reason being is because I want to stay in practice. I didn't wake up until after 11:30 Pacific this morning. I wasn't going to come in because I knew the market was going to be not great, either in pre-market or in the morning. And from what I've seen from a couple of other YouTubers, they also lost. So here, the bar finally moves about halfway. It's a second bar. It's still green. We jump in. We didn't get filled. We get filled on the second one, but our stop is very tight, 10 cents. So we lose 13 cents, and that's okay. That isn't a huge loss, and that's the importance of using templates. And if your broker, if your software has templates, tie them to the hotkeys and use them, because they can save your ass. Oops, sorry. The only problem I don't like, which something that would be nice to see, is a sell button that automatically cancels the sell limit here. That would be nice. You have to maneuver it and move it. And I guess you could go in with just a stop. That would be another thing to do. But I haven't tested that to see if it allows you to sell while a stop is on. I'll have to check it. I think I may have looked at it. Well, here it just drops down. We were in way too early. but I still believe that it's going to move up based on the histogram. And we go in. We use buy market this time because I don't want to be waiting to get filled. And look how close I come. And I think I get stuck on this one too. No. So it needed room to breathe. We needed to have a stop that was well below 10, right around the 990, in order to give it room to breathe. If you've watched our videos, like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful weekend, and you'll see what happens here in a second. But it is the importance of trading and practicing to stay sharp, to know that you're making the right decisions, to know that it doesn't matter how slow, how fast the market is, whether the market is coming down, whether the market is bullish, that you can trade and you can make the right decisions. There, we made 217 plus the $1.83. We made $4. So that was a good trade, and our efficiency is up 50%. And we get out with $2, bragging rights for $2 Friday. Have a wonderful weekend.